Welcome to Fast Effect Doublespeed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Logan on what he has dubbed Euro Was a Mistake versus Sean on Rug Painter. A flooded strand being sacrificed by Logan, whereas Astrolabe coming down for Sean. An extra artifact, smoothing mana, can be potentially welded out. We'll see what is actually in this Rug Painter list. I actually heard somebody talking about this recently and haven't seen one of these lists quite yet. Ponder searches and leaves a Misty Rainforest to shuffle away the suboptimal cards, and a Grindstone along with an Emery. Emery's super dangerous. A new card from Throne of Eldraine. I'm surprised it's not worth more. The card does a lot of work, and it actually merits a Force of Will pitching Jace the Mind Sculptor. Looking to stop that from just creating card advantage and potentially grinding out this game. There's a lot of space right now in Legacy, I believe, for innovation. Even cards like Euro, certainly, in my view, have not been optimized. There's a lot of work left to be done with some of these new printings. I would go back probably to Modern Horizons, if I'm being honest. Like, in terms of the razor sharp edge that we've seen the Legacy format honed to at times when it was being played quite a lot with organized play. I mean, you start to find some real difficult questions to answer. And at this point, I feel like there's room to brew some new stuff up. We've been getting a lot of cards, and even Oko. I don't know what the best Oko shell is, for example. I don't think we ever knew what the best Ren and 6 deck was. I suspect it was something that ran Mox Diamond, a card that has gone up significantly in price over the last few years as people become more and more aware of its power level, both in Legacy and in Commander. Now, Emery has stuck along with Goblin Welder, and Logan as a control deck, it's going to have a tough time containing this. Euro can show up and do his thing, but that is in no way guaranteeing safety from this board state, which could go very wrong very fast. Oh, and Oko, on the other hand, he can be a pain. So, Oko targeting Lotus Petal, perhaps just being countered on the stack. And now a Mystic Sanctuary putting a Force of Will on top, which I am not sure that this is going to be any good at all. Lotus Petal coming right back, thanks to Emery. And a Brainstorm from Logan. Going to allow that Force of Will to get into hand. This board state is just an absolute disaster. Painter Servant is going to catch a Force of Will to the face, but this is a Goblin Welder ready to bring it right back. The most dangerous line that people occasionally miss is the ability to activate Grindstone and then respond by bringing back Painter Servant from the graveyard with Goblin Welder. Euro comes in, and Logan gonna fetch in response, grabbing Mystic Sanctuary, putting Archmage's Charm on top. Oh, perhaps putting Ponder on top? That would make more sense. So he draws the Ponder and then plays it. And then shuffles, doesn't find what he's looking for. And is going to be passing the turn, end step, turning that Astrolabe into a lethal Painter Servant. And now going to go ahead and fire this Oh, wow, we got a Swords to Plowshares. That interaction happened very quickly, so it looks like a Swords to Plowshares took out the hero there. Painter's Servant was all ready to do its thing, and instead Swords actually holding things together. And now a card which I'm going to pause to see if I can figure out. That's just Goblin Engineer, just didn't recognize it at first. Though I'm not going to lie, Euro coming in again, gaining some life. Rug Painter means something very different to Google. Then it's one of those situations where like magic terminology means something different to the rest of the world. At a company that I had started, that we sold deck boxes, and optimizing SEO for that is not ideal. That is a difficult task, as you know, a deck box for Magic players is very different than, you know, homeowners that have a patio and they want a box to keep on their deck to keep like their garden hoses and stuff in. I find that's often a thing with Magic terminology. There's a pretty fun game, Dixit, which we sell here. You can actually get it on ELDstimevaultgames.com. Dixit is a party game where you have to say a one sentence to get people to guess your card. But the challenge is, if it's too obvious, you get no points. Like if you just say something and everybody guesses which card was yours, then you don't get any points and they get points. So you want to say something that will get some people to figure out which card is yours, and other people won't pick up on it. So when I'm playing with a mixed group of Magic players and Muggles, I'll be able to say something that Magic players will understand and everybody else won't get. That tends to devolve into like multiple subsets of subcultures. So somebody that knows Harry Potter really well, you know, can communicate to other fans of Harry Potter, sports analogies, that type of stuff. Yeah, we definitely have our own entire different language when it comes to conversations. I'm sure might be something you've experienced, seeing Magic players talking in front of significant others and they're literally no idea what is even being said. We have Misty Rainforest and Scalding Tarn, fetch lands, some of the best that's ever been as far as Magic printings, smoothing out mana bases and just changing the fundamentals of the game in a lot of ways. When they got printed, I was just absolutely in awe of it. I was using Land Grant for quite a while prior, and Land Grant plus Brainstorm was nearly unbeatable in a control shell, aggro control. The Goblin Welder jumps in here on the first turn along with Mox Opal and Lotus Petal. And Goblin Welder was an absolute menace in Vintage for quite some time. Lava Dart became a card that was occasionally main decked as an answer to the 1/1 Goblin. It is a card that isn't really seeing any play in Legacy right now, like Lava Dart, outside of the prowess builds of Burn that I can think of. But that was just like an actual answer for a while. I could see it being a thing in the right meta. I mean, it does take down Thalia, Mother of Runes, Goblin Welder. I think Emery's a 1/1. Maybe she's a 1/2. Dark Confidant, Snapcaster Mage. Of course, taking out a creature is not all you need out of cards. Something like Oko is a pretty good answer overall. Now we've got Lotus Petal, Swords to Plowshares, and that is being thwarted. I didn't actually catch exactly how. I believe there was a Painter Servant involved. And now we've got Grindstone. That gets Force of Willed. And now Icefang Kotal. Able to draw a card and start turning sideways. Very little hope that Sean would ever be in a situation where he is going to be attacking with Goblin Welder just to try and get the damage in. Certainly not worth the risk when your opponent could potentially have Ice Fang Kotal. We've got a Return to Nature, thwarting this Goblin Welder activation. Modes on that Disenchant. All of them come up at a reasonable cost of just 2 mana. And Sean now in a much tougher spot. Ooh, but Karn. And Logan with more answers. Force of Will stopping Karn from Dominaria. A little surprising. I mean, Karn the Great Creator does give you access to all of your potential combo pieces, but thinning out the amount of combo pieces in the main deck may not be optimal. Now another Painter's Servant. The turn being passed. Ice Fang sends I'm not sure what those 4 counters on the Painter's Servant are. Ice Fang Kotal swings in. Goblin Welder brings back Grindstone. And it's I guess let me know in the comments what these counters are about. This has me actually confused. We've got Painter Servant times 2. One of them has 2 counters on it. The other has 4. Only 1 damage going through. Trading with the Ice Fang Kotal. Oh, just the colors they're naming. I'll be alright. I'm so math-oriented. I saw the 2 and the 4. So this Painter Servant perhaps naming black instead of blue? Seems sus. So you're usually going to name blue so you can pyroblast your opponent's stuff. If you're looking for something neutral that doesn't have a drawback on the other side of the table, you can name other colors. We've got a Surgical Extraction. And Sean has a Surgical in hand. Surgical's getting rid of these Astrolabes. It is worth noting that Surgical Extraction can function as a counter spell for opposing Surgical Extractions. It'll stop, for example, if that was a Painter Servant and Rug was convinced that they were not going to be able to win without Painter Servant, or Grindstone for that matter, you could respond with your own Surgical Extraction, exiling the one that was targeted by your opponent, and then failing to find the ones that are in your library. Surgical, very versatile in that regard, as it plays out with the Magic rules. Rest in peace now. Exiling all the things. And Goblin Welder going to get 1 more activation in. Bringing in a Painter's Servant. And I think you just name blue all the time unless you have a very good reason not to. Everything turning sideways. Goblin Welder actually getting aggressive, as Rest in Peace is going to eliminate his main reason for being, but 3 damage at a time starting to add up. Astrolabe. And Euro not really going to be very strong here, thanks to Rest in Peace. Gaining some life would keep things going for a little bit, but without being able to stabilize as a 6/6 body. Another Astrolabe. Logan down to 5, facing down 3 damage per turn with these 1 power creatures. Grindstone. It's a brainstorm in response. Logan putting back 2 cards. Grindstone resolving. And looks like that's going to do it. That'll do. As Painter threatened lethal from attacking, but ultimately did end up top decking that Grindstone to take it down. It does not always have to have the graveyard to win. That is definitely a lesson from that. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.